Stop people pleasing. The only thing that's going to do is erode you from the inside out and stop you from taking care of you. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Wayne. I'm an alcoholic of 23 years who's been living sober for 6 years. I have had the fortunality to be clear-minded and be able to see myself for who I am for the last 6 years. Now let me tell you about before. I was an alcoholic for 23 years. Now, you may have heard this, but you haven't heard this. I was a people pleaser. I did everything in my life to please somebody else. Please a woman, please my boss, please the financiers, everything else, minus my neglect of not paying my bills when I was drinking, but that's aside the point. I was a people pleaser. And how did that affect me, folks? And it might be affecting you the same way. I never did things to take care of myself. I never took the time to find out who I really am, what I enjoy doing, what brings me happiness, what makes me have fulfillment. I never did any of that. And where did it get me? I'm going to tell you. It got me to 23 years of drunkenness. And I don't mean that as an excuse, folks. I mean that as in I didn't know what brought me happiness. All I knew was resentment because I spent my time making other people feel good about themselves. How is life for me today? Well, I am not going to spare your feelings. Now, I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to be mean for no reason, but I am going to speak my mind without having someone else's feelings to heart, if that makes sense. I don't mean like dismiss empathy and all these other things that show people respect and how you relate to folks. I just mean I'm not going to censor myself the way I feel. I'm 46. I'm too damn old to be doing that nowadays. So I'm not going to be wasting a lot of time and effort making someone else feel good. If I don't like something, I'm going to say it. If I don't appreciate the way someone spoke to me, I'm going to let them know. And if I don't really think something is making me happy, folks, I'll quit my job today if it's not going to make me happy. And I don't mean like all these selfish things that I want and, you know, the money that comes along with it and everything else. What I mean is, if I don't have job satisfaction and I don't have security in that job and I'm getting overworked for no good reason and it's affecting my family, I'll quit. If it's going to bring me to the point where I'm holding resentments or to where I'm lashing out at folks, I will stop doing that job. Matter of fact, I've already done it. And you should maybe think about the same thing, because how many of us spend 30, 40 years doing a job that we don't like? How many of us work ourselves to the bone so much that we don't take a vacation? Raise your hand if that's you, because that was me. Now, folks, we're going to transition real quick because I want to go back to people pleasing. Not only is forgetting about taking care of yourself a form of people pleasing, but when you tiptoe, and this is no disrespect, if you tiptoe around your house, around your spouse, around your kids, around your in-laws, whoever it is, if you're walking on eggshells in your own house, chances are, people, and you might not like it, you're a people pleaser. If someone is having trouble that they can fix themselves and you do it for them, you might be a people pleaser. If any of this is resonating with you, drop a like, drop a comment so someone else can get some of that. And hell, if you've gotten value so far out of this video, I don't know, consider subscribing, because the more we think about who we are as people, the more that we can actually cultivate a better condition and comfort for our kids. I don't know. It's just stuff I think about. How about you? In general, I spent most of my life people pleasing. And I keep saying people pleasing because that by nature is what we do to diffuse confrontation. There's so many years that my wife and I both, we tried to diffuse confrontation that we felt or a resentment that we felt by pleasing each other through what the other expected us to do. That didn't do anything productive and healthy in our relationship. As a matter of fact, it did the opposite. It made us hold on to those resentments longer. It presented points where we didn't really want to have a discussion, because if one of us were disagreeing with each other, then we automatically went into the, well, okay, you're right, I must be wrong. And that was the way that we handled a lot of things, especially when I was in my alcoholism, because hell, if you disagreed with me or you didn't like what I had to say, I simply just shut it down. I left and I drove 4 hours back to where I came from. And that wasn't productive at all. And it fueled my alcoholism. Now, I'm not saying that that was the reason I drank, but it contributed greatly to where that's how I was handling my stress, and that's where I was handling my anxiety. And folks, I know I point to you a lot, but a lot of you out there do the same thing. And it's just human nature to not want to have that confrontation and to people please instead of actually taking care of yourself and saying what you want to say and be secure about what you want to say. Are you a people pleaser? I've asked it already. If you are, don't be ashamed of it. 99% of human beings are people pleasers. That's why there's 1% who are alphas. And that's the difference. That's the differential, is that an alpha is not afraid to speak their mind, even if they're wrong. And they are willing to take the feedback of somebody else. They may not always go with it, but that's the difference between introvert, extrovert, and all those other things. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, counselor, social worker, anything like that. I'm just one sober person talking to you guys, and that's where one sober to another comes from, if you didn't already know. That is food for thought, folks, like I just threw out there. If you are people pleasing, there is not shame in that game. However, I've learned in my sobriety that in order for me to have fulfillment and in order for me to be happy, I have to be willing to speak my opinion with respect to the other person, but get my opinion out there, get my thought out there, do things that bring me fulfillment, involve my family as much as possible, and cultivate positivity. I no longer am trying to just do things in order to please you or to please the person next to me or to please my boss. I will do everything within the confines of my ability in order to make the situation comfortable for everybody. I will not sacrifice what I have to say and the way I feel, and I will not compromise my sobriety nor my happiness. Does that make sense, folks? I appreciate every one of you guys, and if you've enjoyed today's video, please, again, give a like. If you haven't, give a thumbs down, which nobody likes to see, but honesty is the best policy, folks. Also, shout out to everybody doing the damn thing. Folks that I met along the way, I have not forgot about you, and I'm going to throw this name out there. What will be? You are still on my mind, and your family's on my mind. I send prayers every day. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all you guys out there. Have a safe 4th of July. I hope that everybody gets to celebrate Independence Day the way you see fit and the way that is safe. And if you're not American, enjoy your 4th and enjoy life, because it's a garden. Dig it?